going on, Jerome's beautiful day for a 7-round Vikings mock draft. Let's fire it up. So we traded up yesterday. Probably not going to trade up today. Yeah. All right, so it's a good day. All right, so the draft as we know it: Cam, Shador, Travis, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Genty to the Raiders, Membu to the Jets. I kind of like that. So you have Membu and Olafashanu as your bookend tackles. Jade Brown. It's probably as high as I've seen him, but I mean Barron's going to be legit. Matthew Golden to the Saints, Will Campbell to the Bears. That'd be unfortunate because I think Campbell at left tackle, I mean, you're just going to keep him there, right? And right tackle, it's a pretty good bookend duo for the Bears. Tyler Warren goes to the 49ers, so they've just given up on receivers and just going to double down on tight ends. Tet to the Cowboys. I actually think wide receiver could be a low-key need for the Cowboys. Hottie Campbell goes to the Dolphins. Will Johnson falls all the way to the Colts. So Will Johnson, Travaris Ward would be a nice pairing. Mikael Williams getting some pass rush. He stays in state in Georgia. Mike Green. Kenneth Grant. Jelon Walker. Igbuka goes to the Chargers, getting some receiver help there. Kelvin Banks to the Steelers I like a lot. And lastly, Malachi Starks goes to the Packers. Kind of sucks to see, but it is what it is. Vikings at 24. Usual suspects on board. 49ers want to come up, and so do the Broncos. I mean, 43 is a big drop. Yeah, so you're dropping 20 spots there. Broncos want to come up. I mean, that's an even further drop, so pass. So the board as it stands: Walter Nolan, Loveland, Zabel. So I know we've always switched it up, but I do think that Gray Zabel, and given his positional flexibility, certainly could and should work out. But 6'6", 310, started the Senior Bowl, tested great at the Combine as well, and athleticism, 90.4 PFF grade in 2024. I think that his skill set is really translatable. And in a class where interior offensive line is not great, I think knocking this one out of the park early would be good. And Zabel would be very adept at picking up outside zone. So Darisaw, Zabel, Kelly, Will Fries, Brian O'Neill, that's a hell of an offensive line, man. So Gray Zabel, welcome on in. You are a Viking. Rest of the way, I mean, I'm just fired up to go BPA. Got a couple trade offers. Ooh, Jalen Noel, Makuba. Let's see here. Falcons want to come up 20 spots. Ugh, yeah. Packers, the Packers want to come up. Everybody wants to trade up with us. It's okay. Walker, Martinez. I like Martinez. Ooh. Tez Johnson, I think, is underrated. Deion Walker, we could go down that route. I mean, the rest, Peebles is a stud. Kobe Bryant, Jammery. All right. So overall, like, I can't get Fandon out of my mind, but Castro is legit too. So I know we've generally gone safety in this spot. Makuba being a favorite. Winston has the athletic traits, but you worry about instincts a little bit. Castro, a little bit older and a little bit, pigeonholed into a box safety type role. But I think that Jalen Noel is just sitting there winking at us, right? He of the 4.39 40 at the Combine, just complete speed, all gas, no brakes, and works a lot from the slot, pushes things vertically. But for the Vikings, so Rondale Moore's on a 1-year deal. He's on a prove-it deal. Jalen Naylor's in a contract year. Addison's facing a 3-game suspension. I mean, wide receiver, it's not a primary need, but in terms of taking advantage of the board, Jalen Noel in the spot would be great. 80 catches for 1,193 yards, 8 touchdowns, 12.2 ADOT, average depth of target in 2024, so he is that deep vertical threat. Speed for days, kick and punt return ability as well. So Jalen Naylor, excuse me, Jalen Noel, Jalen Naylor, everybody's Jalen. All right, we Jalen. All right, and also, his name has a J, so he can fit in with the receiving core. Next, Riley Mills, JCM. So we're going to mix things up a bit. So I know that Tyler Batty, like, there's some concerns. So, like, what's his ceiling going to be? As a 25-year-old rookie, has he physically maxed out? But I like his game. I think that he could fit in nicely with the Vikings, because he and Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave are the same age. They have the same cultural references in terms of pop culture, TV, and music. But with Batty, He's 6'6", 271, heart and hustle. Like he is I think he'd be a rock solid 5-tech. I think that he's very solid against the run. 42 pressures, 1.5 sacks last year. And again, sack numbers can be a little bit of puck luck, but consistent pressure. Like, are you getting after things on a consistent basis? And Tyler Batty is certainly that. So, I mean, it's a spot too. Like Kwesi finding value in market inefficiencies, and Batty could be passed along because of his age and because of his ceiling. But I do think he's an absolutely high floor type player. So Tyler Batty, come on in. Come on, man. Lastly, 6th round, 187. Shuck will be long gone. Jalen Lane is in my ear. Ooh. Prescorn, Ty Felton. Timmy Smith will double down on D-line. All right, so we can switch things up a bit because I know corner, except I actually think Vikings might be okay at corner. I know it's unpopular to say, but you only have 4 draft picks. You only have 1 pick in the first round and 1 in the third. I mean, that's it. So you're going to have to pick your poison in terms of what you suture up. So you got Murph, you got Rogers, Mekhi Blackman, Okudah if he pans out, as well as Dwight McLaughlin. Tavier can play a little bit of slot as well. So Caleb Ransaw is a really interesting player. So formerly of Troy, transferred to Tulane, 5'11", a $197. So sort of the big nickel slot type safeties. The versatility is a plus, as Flores loves to see. A 4.33 40, so just absolute speed demon. 40-inch vert as well, and adept at zone, fluid underneath. Has got some versatility. So I think that Ransaw would be a nice fit. Plus a solid tackler, which is important in the Flores scheme. And I think that losing Cam Beasley, Harrison Smith retiring pretty soon, Theo Jackson, Josh Metellus in the contract year. I think adding another solid DB with some versatility, as well as someone who could play some plus special teams, it's going to be good to go. All right, so there we go. And again, no corner, nobody, no corner, no tight end, no backup quarterback, blah, blah, blah. We'll be fine. Kind of like how this turned out, which we always have to say because that's what we do. Anyways, so Gray Zabel is going to be your starting left guard. Jalen Noel, speed. I love speed. So, yeah, Noel with speed, Ransaw, both have 4.3 speed. Going to be good to go there. Tyler Batty probably does not run a 4.3. Actually, run like a 4.8 or something like that. But Batty, heart and hustle and muscle. I think that he'll be a great addition to the stoutness of this defensive line, also with some pass rush upside. And Ransaw in that secondary, I think will be a good addition at safety. And Noel, I mean, could Noel eventually work his way up as wide receiver 3? Maybe wide receiver 2, depending on what happens with Addison's contract in a few years. It's very possible. And then Gray Zabel, like we said, left guard set and forget it. You're good to go. Yes, no corner, but it's all right. Anyways, that's it. 7-round Vikings mock draft on this beautiful Monday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.